This is Central Compound Command calling in from the Ross 128 system. Requesting ETA on load delivery.
This is Captain Nicholas Remor of the prison ship, Tesseract 6. Our current coordinates are showing us well within schedule parameters to arrive within 2 weeks. We planned on arriving sooner than that, but we've been experiencing constant electrical glitches with the engine coolant system ever since we left Triton. We've had no choice but to play it safe by running just under sub-warp speeds.
Captain Remor, this is the second time in the last 3 load deliveries that you've claimed engine issues. The last time you arrived 6 days late and forced the central compound to break several protocols in order to accommodate double the load deliveries in a single day. This is not reflecting well on your reputation, which I must remind you has been exemplary up until recently.
Well, I'm sorry, Warden, but this is not my fault. I never requested to command the Tesseract 6 because I knew it was on its way to becoming an obsolete vessel. I was ordered to this ship because nobody else wanted it, and well, I assume when all else fails, send the best to clean up the mess.
Are you finished complaining, Captain? Just see to it that you arrive on schedule this time, otherwise I'll be forced to report the tardiness to your superiors. Central compound out.
This ship isn't even suitable as a museum display, let alone transporting the most deplorable people in the system. But what do? They force me to work miracles daily without any extra pay. Just do it or you're fired. Meanwhile, I still have another 10 years of this before I can even look forward to retirement. One thing is for sure. When I do retire, the last ship I'll ever be on will be the one dropping me off on Kepler 452b, where I plan to disappear for the remainder of my days.
Is there something I can assist you with, Captain?
No, Jones. You have the bridge for now. I'm going to take a look at the engines and see if there's anything I can do to speed things up.
But, sir, we have engineers for that below.
I'm aware, but trust me when I say I need something to distract myself with. If I spend another minute staring out into space from that chair, I'm going to crack.
Very well, sir.
I swear, when we arrive at Central Compound, I'm personally escorting the wardens and every other official of the penal system I can find down here. Let's see what their expert decision-making minds suggest for a solution. I can hardly wait. Jones, what is the efficiency reading showing on the bridge?
That's interesting. It was showing only 60% just a moment ago, but is now reading 80. Did you do that, Captain?
Yes. I guess some time away from the bridge was all I needed. Somehow, I was able to figure out this spiderweb mess of wires down here, although I'm not sure how long any of this will hold. So, while we have 80% efficiency, let's try to speed things up, shall we? I want to get this trip over with sooner rather than later.
That shouldn't be a problem, sir. But there is one problem we have just detected up here. It's showing a heavy field of debris, about roughly a quarter of a light year up on our route. It's possible it's the wreckage from a recent freighter that passed through. It could cause some problems traversing that sector even at subwarp speeds.
This route is full of derelicts and all kinds of other debris. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a bunch of trash some lazy transport ship decided to just eject with how much of a dump this section of space is. Regardless, take us to planned Route B and follow my initial orders of increasing speeds while this 80% holds.
Aye, sir.
Hey, you're the captain, right?
That is correct. What is it?
What do you suppose might happen if I touch these lasers along the wall?
I don't know. How about you throw yourself up against one while I record it? I'll send the footage to a science colony and I'll split the earnings with whatever is left of me.
I like you, Captain. You have my kind of sense of humor.
Who said I was being funny?
It's clear you were being funny. It's no secret if anything happens to any of us on this trip, you won't receive your full rates.
Prisoner 11652, incarcerated for the murder of 36 political officials on Mars. Serving a life sentence, no family or next of kin on record. Well, you're just the poster child of the penal system, aren't you?
You want to know the best part? Those 36 were my smallest kill count of a mass assassination in my entire career. But the Martian Council only chose to label their deaths as murder. They didn't care about the hundreds that I've killed in my past. You know why? Because those were deaths that were sanctioned. Killing problematic innocents is okay when I'm ordered to do it. But when I take it upon myself to kill a few rich vacationing politicians, suddenly it's murder. Funny, right?
You were a government assassin.
You bet. I was good at it too. Like you read, I had no family or anything to hold me back, so they could send me to the darkest and most remote planet in the sector and carry out their contracted kills, and I wouldn't think twice.
What caused you to snap and kill those political officials?
Snap. I didn't snap. I did what I felt was a justified act to balance out the power structure. My last assignment was to sabotage a freighter that was transporting heavy metals to a military outpost in the Cyrus system so they could be used for weapons manufacturing. I snuck on board, did what I had to do, and left using one of their own escape pods. But just before I cleared the hull of the ship, I spotted children on board through one of the windows. Nobody had told me the families of the crew lived on the ship with them. It was too late, though. From the safety of the pod, I helplessly watched the freighter explode as a result of my own handiwork. It was estimated over 500 people were on that ship. I later learned the people who sent me on that mission were well aware of all of it, and they didn't bother telling me because they feared it would have hindered the mission. They were right. So what did I do? I decided to kill those very politicians that found that freighter to be a threat. The fact there were only 36 of them didn't matter. As long as all who wanted that freighter destroyed also died in return, balance was achieved in my eyes. If you ask me, the two cancel each other out, wouldn't you say?
Wouldn't you say you deserve to be here for the freighter deaths alone?
I never said I don't belong here, Captain. I'm simply pointing out the hypocrisy of the government's distinction between murder and a mission.
Captain, it's Jones speaking. I think you might want to see this, sir.
What is it, Jones?
Some sort of anomaly has appeared on our radar and is showing it's directly in our path. I think you might want to take a look at it.
Very well. I'm on my way. Did you have a name before your number?
Preston.
What is it, Jones?
A strange light is visible a good distance from here. According to the radar, it's exactly where the anomaly is showing. We're guessing that light is the anomaly.
I've lost count of the number of times I've traversed this sector. Decades of back and forth load transporting, and yet I've never seen this once.
Captain, I advise that we reverse course and continue on our previous route.
Why?
It's been my experience, sir, that when a spatial anomaly is detected, that it is best the traveling vessel avoid it at all cost. We have no idea what that light is.
And it's my experience that when there is a heavy debris field, it's advisable not to go through it or risk severely damaging the hull of the ship. Or have you forgotten that is the whole reason why we changed course in the first place?
I've not forgotten, sir, but the readings are showing that the anomaly is nearly a light year in diameter. It would be almost impossible to stay on course without having to fly through it. May I suggest that we move to planned Route C?
That route would delay us a month, and Central Compound is already on us about our delays. Taking that route would almost guarantee a demotion for all of us.
But, Captain, if we present them with a legitimate reason?
Enough, Jones. You expect me to tell them we were a month late because we saw some weird light and it scared us. We will continue on course until some legitimate threat is detected. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a bright light, nothing more. Has anything changed in the readings?
No. Nothing in our scans can indicate if there is any mass or matter present. Other than the anomaly detection, it's as if it's not even there.
Captain, our engines are dropping back to 60% efficiency again.
I'm not walking all the way back down there. Take someone with you and go down to the engine room. I'll direct you from comms on what exactly you need to do. Most likely the wires need to be re-spliced again. What was that?
Captain, our engines are completely offline now, but we are still moving somehow. I don't believe it, sir. We are at full warp.
It's pulling us in. I don't care what it takes. Do whatever you can to get those engines back online. Now hurry.
Sir, the readings have changed. Something is now showing, but it's unclear. It's almost like it's both here and not here.
What? That doesn't make sense. It's almost like you're telling me this light is dimensional.
That's exactly what I'm saying, sir. It's as if it's a doorway or some kind of rift.
Commander, where is the captain?
Captain, if you can hear me, please respond. Did you leave the bridge, sir?
Commander, the engines are showing 80% down here and the wires that were spliced by the captain remain untouched.
It's showing the same up here. The captain is missing. See if you can locate him on your way back up. What in the world?
Tesseract 6, this is the Warden of Central Compound. We are still waiting on a response. Prepare for cargo transport of prisoners. Our transport ships are docking exit locks now.
This is Commander Jones, First Officer of Tesseract 6, acknowledging prisoner transport.
Finally. What is the deal, Commander? We've been waiting an hour for a response from you ever since you came into orbital distance. And why am I talking to you? Where's Captain Remor?
I don't know.
But Commander, you need to explain yourself right now. Where are the prisoners?
What?
What do you mean, what? The transport crew is reporting the cells are completely empty. I'm coming on board, Commander. You and the captain better have a good explanation if you don't want to end up locked up here too. There you are. You know why I'm here, Commander, so you best sit up straight and tell me what I want to hear. Tell me why there are 600 prisoners and one captain unaccounted for. What an interesting story, but it doesn't add up. You sat above our planet for over an hour before we heard a response from you. We saw no such light, yet you claim you were in it all the way up until you heard about the transport ships docking. Bull.
Well, then explain to me how we arrived weeks before we said we would.
What are you talking about? You didn't arrive early at all. In fact, you're borderline late. It's been almost 2 weeks since we last spoke with you about arrival times.
What? But that's impossible. It couldn't have been 2 weeks.
I can show you the time stamps, Commander. But even if I believed your story about the light, that doesn't explain the disappearance of the captain and prisoners.
The readings were showing a dimensional occurrence. It's possible that... Look, these were the logged readings during the event. These are my timestamps.
Sir, I've seen this before.
What? Seen what before?
For this job, I worked as security on a science station on Europa. One night I was patrolling and noticed a screen filled with similar readings as well as 3D renderings theorizing what form those readings would take. It was just as the commander described, this strange formless light.
That could have been anything. And what kind of science station dabbles in conspiratorial what-ifs?
The room specialized in metaphysics.
Did it say anything about what it was exactly?
If I can remember correctly, it said Tophet.
Tophet? What does that mean?
Purgatory, or as some would call it, hell.
I don't believe this. You grown men are now pushing this superstitious fiction on me. If that was even remotely true, I could understand the prisoners, but why would it claim the captain?
The captain hated this job. He drank a lot and constantly talked about how he couldn't wait for retirement. In his mind, he felt like a prisoner. Perhaps the light wasn't strictly some portal. Perhaps it was conscious in some form and knew how the captain felt. It could have mistaken him with the actual prisoners.
So it was both intelligent and stupid. It mistook an innocent man for a guilty one and locked him away with the murderers, psychos, and other galactic trash.
It was neither. It simply judged their hearts and claimed who felt imprisoned.
Several religions from both the past and the present talk about the afterlife being one of judgment.
But this is not the afterlife. These men were alive.
They might have been alive in body, but when you convince a man that there is no escape for him, you might as well tell him he's dead. And whatever that anomaly or perhaps entity was, it couldn't tell the difference. We used our standards for what defines a criminal, scanned our hearts, and sorted us out all within 2 weeks our time. But for those of us who were in that dimension, it was milliseconds, and we don't even remember the process. It claimed the physically and mentally condemned and sent us on our way.
Contrary to popular belief, I am not the ultimate authority in the penal system. I have superiors to report to as well. I will have to explain to them the disappearances. I'll need the data from the computer to do so, and possibly your presence, Commander. Oh, by the way, Commander, Tesseract 6 is now your ship. You have my congratulations or my sympathies. That all depends on you.
Captain, what awful things are you having to endure right now?